So far so good. I want to thank all my service. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. And today I have some friends over here. She's called Kate. She's a bride today. Say hi. Hi. And she's Natasha. Say hi. And there's another small human being over here. Mika, come and say hi. Come. Say hi. Wait. Yeah, we are standing outside my church. I go to Turning Point Church in Nakuru, and it's just right over there. There it is. Yeah, it's just along the highway. Yeah, so in today's video, I am going to be talking about my life as a PK. That means pastor's kid. You still want to be in the video? Yes. They still want to be here. So my life as a PK. First of all, I need to begin by saying I do have a burden for the pastor's kids because I'm also a pastor's kid. And I'm going to share a clip shortly that was recorded during my graduation when I was giving the maiden speech. So here it's coming. It's coming. Is that raining? Here it's inakuja. Like please watch in a few minutes. We'll be right back. It has been known that pastors' kids are freaks. They're children who are spoiled. They are ruined. They have no future in life. You know, there's that aura that surrounds us. But I thank God He has saved me through. I remember when I was going back to school in primary school. I don't know if Mom can remember, she was the one taking me back to school. And a lady who was seated next to her started a conversation talking about me. And at the end of the conversation, this lady said, if this small girl is in boarding school at this time, and you are far away from her because you're pastors, this is how children drop out. And I'm telling you for sure, your daughter is not safe. I captured that very much in my heart. And I said, I'll prove the world wrong. Amen. I got into campus and they said, into high school, and they said, well, maybe it's just by luck, but let's wait and see what will happen to her. And they waited, and I got into university. And they said, okay, university now is the climax. There, she can't survive. Thank God, I am here. And my experiences in life give me a burden for pastors' kids, and also for the singles, and for the ladies. Hey guys, so I'm back. I'm still at church. It's going to 5 p.m. That's how you know you're a PK and a minister. Yeah, so I've just shared a video of why I have a burden for the pastor's kids, and it's important that I mention who my parents are. My dad is called Apostle Paul Njoroge, and my mom is called Pastor Grace Paul. You can look them up on their Facebook. And so you need to know that PKs do live a sacrificial life. And that is why I have a burden for the PKs, because it takes a lot of strength to accept to make the sacrifice, because you're not the one who has been called by God. Yes, at some point you might be called, but before then, you have to make sacrifices for the sake of your parents. And I'm going to be sharing about my life as a pastor's kid. So the first encounter I had that really shows how my life has been sacrificial was when I was at around the age of 5, 6 or 7. I can't remember for sure. And my dad got the calling of God to go and begin a church in Tanzania, particularly in a city called Mbeya. So he just graduated from theology, Bible school, and then he went to Tanzania. As of that time, he left us here in Kenya, my mom, and I'm not sure, was my sister born? Maybe, I'm not so sure she was born. probably she was about to be born. I can't remember well. But at that period, Dad went to Mbeya first of all, alone, to do a survey of some sort, like, is it truly, like, there's a city called Mbeya, that is what he had gone to ensure. And he got there and he began a church already, and he had his own share of challenges being in a foreign country alone. And it was survival mode, as he says it. But after some time, he came back to Kenya and told us, we are going to Tanzania. So I just remember us selling off everything we had. It wasn't much, but we sold everything that was there. And we boarded a bus, got to Mbeya City. Life was challenging at first because, adjusting wasn't an easy thing for us. It wasn't an easy thing for me, especially when it came to schooling. I got into a school, an English medium. But then you people, you usually think that all Tanzanian schools just teach in Swahili. No, some schools actually use English. They're called the English mediums. So I went to an English medium called Umoja Primary. And I had challenges adjusting because the system is different. Their social studies was different, and there was a lot of back and forth between me and the teachers. Sometimes I just used to get punished for correcting the teacher's English, But it came to a point, my dad saw this is not going to help me at all. So they decided to bring me back to Kenya at that age. I was probably in class 4. No, I was going to class 3. Class 3, yeah. That is when I came back to Kenya. And I started living with a family friend. They're called the Festus family from Nyandarua. If you're watching, you just mean so much to me. Thank you so much. And I really owe your family a lot. I can never repay you, but I'm always praying that God will bless you and provide for you as you provided for me. So I started living with this family, and I was going to a school called Rangers View Academy. And I survived being far from my parents, but it was not easy. And I really tried to imagine how did I make it through even for a year without seeing my parents. But I just think there's an inborn thing inside PKs that enables them to live sacrificially for the sake of their parents accomplishing what God has put in them. And for that reason, I was able to survive. I was in a day school, so it wasn't really challenging. And this family was quite loving. I fitted in. I'd call them mom comfortably. I'd call him dad, and it was okay. It felt like home completely. I had 2 sisters, Ruth and Abigail, and it was okay. But then it came to this time where now we got to class 5 and and boys now began, their teasing moments and chokozing me, and I couldn't take that. Like, you don't talk to me. Like, no, who do you think you are? So at that point, I started being stubborn. Like, I can't go back to that school because this boy is trying to, I know you're getting what I'm trying to say. So for that reason, I had to cook up a story of why I need to leave that school. And my mom came. She came from TZ. It was a holiday, so she came to see me. And as she was taking me back to school, I refused to go back. But she kept asking the reason why didn't you want to go back to that school. And I was like, Akiwa tunamsha at 6 a.m. I like sleeping. I don't like their food. In fact, we are given so much work. I just can't take that school. And my mom was like, hautanisumbua. So she took me to school, and hey, now I had to reveal the reason why I need to leave that school. Remember, the same day, she's supposed to begin her journey to go back to Tanzania. And I'm wasting her time. So you can imagine what she was feeling inside. But Then I just went straight to the point, and I told her I can't survive in this school. Actually, I'm being disturbed. There's this boy, he's even brought me a ring. He wants to marry me. I just can't take it. And the boys are teasing me. I don't like that. So my mom was like, okay, let's just go to the head teacher. We sort this out, and then you'll just have to stay in the same school. How fruitless. So we just went, talked to the head teacher, and then I was left at school, and I had to survive. I cried. I remember crying so much because I knew she's going back to another country, and once again I'm going to be all alone here. And why are they leaving me? Church, ministry. This is the part where you all don't know about the sacrifices even pastors have to make because of ministry. So my mom is in pain because she's leaving me crying at school, and she has to go back to TZ because of ministry. And well, she left, but thank God hakufika mbali. She just got to Naivasha and decided to come back, pick me up. Now the household began looking for another school. It took so much time. There were finances to be considered, and there was so much to be considered. And I just thank God, because there's just a way in which God can help out his ministers ndio wasipate so much trouble. And I eventually got a girls' school, and that is how I landed in Mary Immaculate Academy. Now, she will tell you the story personally. I used to be very stubborn, homesick. Wait, I have a witness here who can tell you about how homesick I get. She's over here. She's hiding. Oh my God, you should see yourself. I'm a cutter. I thought I'd get her. But, well, she's a witness. Me, I used to cry a lot. Like when I was going back to school, I used to cry like the first 2 weeks. I'm just crying every minute, every hour. At night, I just cry. Why? Because I'm alone in Kenya. And I didn't understand that for some time. And I started hating ministry, hating church. Like, why does church have to take my parents away from me? Why do I have to live far away from my parents because of ministry? So I started having this desire of, I wish my parents were something else, like maybe engineers, doctors, am I just businessmen, I had those thoughts. But I began to inquire from my friends about how their life was like. Now, how do you feel to be a doctor's kid? The questions you people ask us, like, how do you feel to be a pastor's kid? So I started asking my friends, how do you feel to be a doctor's kid, a teacher's kid? How does it feel? And I just saw no parents, there's no calling which provides a perfect lifestyle for their kid. Every family has to make sacrifices. And when I realized that every family out there has to also make its sacrifices, I decided to cope with the sacrifices that I have to make. And that is when I became supportive, and by the grace of God, I understood my parents better. By that time, I was at maybe class 6 or class 7, but I used to still have the homesick. I used to cry a lot. Long story short, I finished my primary school, and 2 years later, now I'm at 2012, my parents got the calling of God to come back to Kenya, particularly in Nakuru. Well, I thought sacrifices were over, like I've not grown up with them around. It used to be just over the December holiday, that's when I'd go home, like seriously. So I was kind of excited about that, but then again, when they came here, there were still sacrifices to be made. There are finances to give to the church. There is building up a church. There's planting a church. There is taking care of this person because he's a church member. They receive calls at weird hours, and you have to understand they are in full-time ministry. And I just want to say, I've not gotten into the complete details, but out of my life, I can tell you people, if you're not a PK, PKs do make great sacrifices. For me, I can always remember at the back of my mind, I have not grown up with my parents around. In fact, my mom puts it very well. She says that she has not laid me. You know what I mean? She hasn't brought me up like physically, but on her knees she has raised me up to be the person that I am. So the message that I want to put across is, please don't look at PKs as just freaks. You know, it takes a lot of courage and strength to make sacrifices in life, not in life, as a PK. And if sometimes the society cannot appreciate the sacrifices we make, we cave in and become the freaks you think we are. We decide to branch off completely from ministry. We end up hating the church. We don't want to be associated with ministry. Why? Because we have to make sacrifices, but despite making those sacrifices, you cannot appreciate them, and you cannot appreciate our parents. So this being episode 1, I'm not going to give more details on that, but if you're a PK out there, I just want you to know that you are not alone. People out there, we have made our sacrifices, we are still pressing on. Sacrifices are still being made, and yes, you can make it. You can come out of it all. Despite the pressure, despite not being appreciated as a PK, just know there is someone out here, me, who knows what you're going through, and I understand you. I appreciate the sacrifice you're making for your parents, and I pray for you that you'll have the grace to sail through no matter sacrifice you have to make. So thank you so much for watching. My name is Rozitta, and this is Rozitta Rose Paul channel, where we embody truth. If you're new here, please make sure you subscribe. Join me on this journey as we embody truth. See you next time, and thank you so much for watching. Bye. I have a friend over here. Rita, come and say hi to my friend. Say hi. Cut! Hey guys, so I am back, and I'm still at church. It's raining. Oh, it has just stopped raining. Okay. Back to my channel. Sanya mtasema. Why is it?